So here I was, staging a one-man rally on behalf of many ID.4 owners by climbing on the Volkswagen's display at the Consumer Electronics Show before security noticed me. Did this have anything to do with Volkswagen leaving me without a car on Christmas after 2 years of ignoring software issues of thousands of owners like myself? Maybe a little, but how did I get here? Because only a couple of years ago, I was the Volkswagen ID.4's biggest fan. No, really, like the biggest fan. Well, gather around, boys and girls. I will tell you a wonderful story about a Russian Jew from California driving a German car in the middle of Texas during Jesus's birthday week. What can go wrong? Well, I'll tell you right now, so let's get going. Welcome to E4 Electric. For those of you who want to know what happened when I installed the latest update, I will get to it in just a second. But before that, some context. If you've never watched my videos before, a quick recap. I am an electric car YouTuber who was looking for a new EV a couple of years ago after giving up on Tesla. And once the ID.4 was unveiled, I was in love. Not only I got one of the first ones imported into the US, Volkswagen has become one of my sponsors, and I even got to spend some time with their global and their American CEOs. Now, there were some issues in the beginning, but I kinda knew that I would be a guinea pig for a while until the promised over-the-air updates were going to start coming through, and I would be fine. I'd be fine. Right? But with time, the software problems have gotten worse and Volkswagen hasn't released a single update. Now, Volkswagen did fly out a German software specialist from Germany to where I was in Silicon Valley, and it does cut my ears just saying it. But when he showed up and he saw the issues I was having, he blamed it on Google. It was Google's fault that my ID.4 was having problems with the Android Auto. But I pointed out to him that pretty much all other brands were able to implement it just fine and pointed the finger back to where it belonged, which was at the German software engineers. I also started to realize that my problems weren't really just my problems. Since I run an ID.4 owner community on Facebook with over 10,000 members, it appeared that many others have been having the same issues, and they were also getting worse. From a randomly disappearing sound and navigation system disconnecting at will to extremely slow startup time and useless and yet buggy mobile app. And then there were blank screens, sudden reboots, backup camera blackouts, and many others. There are other things that are just dumb by design. For example, if your tires are hot and the tire pressure goes above the spec, it will throw an error message. Sounds reasonable so far, right? Well, you see, the dumb Volkswagen system is designed so if the tire pressure is off, it just assumes that it's too low. So when the tire pressure is too high, it will actually tell you it is too low. So just to summarize, when your high tire pressure comes back to normal tire pressure, the ID.4 still tells you that your tire pressure is too low. Finally, a few months into the year, I've realized that Volkswagen wasn't going to fix anything for anyone, and the update wasn't going to come anytime soon. So yes, Volkswagen software engineers went out for some cigarettes and never came back. So then I made this video, but before that I invited Volkswagen's PR department to comment and give their side of the story, but they told me to, what's the industry term for this? To fuck off. Fast forward to a few months ago, and Volkswagen has finally announced that they were going to roll out the new software update. It wasn't going to be over the air because the software wasn't really ready yet. Surprise, surprise. You had to bring the car in. Now, with all of the problems that I had with this car, I wasn't going to get it right away because, you know, why would I trust German software engineers to fix my software issues they've created with more software they've created after that. But they forced me into it anyway. And this is where the story gets really frustrating, and I can't stress enough that it is not just my story. It is not actually that uncommon among other ID.4 owners. As I've decided to leave California a couple of months ago, and there is a video about that too, I took my ID.4 across country to look for a new place to live. From the first couple of weeks of the trip, I've noticed that my ID.4 didn't always connect to the Electrify America stations, and I had to call customer support to manually force the start. Now that usually wasted about 15 minutes of my time, and that's a lot when you are driving for many hours per day. Now, I've checked with other EV model owners, but just like with the Android Auto, the issue appeared to be contained to just Volkswagen. When I got to Oklahoma City, I started getting some warnings from my ID.4 that my 12-volt battery was low. Now, the irony of even having to have a 12-volt battery in an electric car aside, I figured that driving around for a bit will fix it. However, I also started getting other random error messages, and as my luck would have it, as I checked out of my Airbnb, loaded my car to make my drive to Austin, Texas, the car has started throwing a few fatal messages and then just died. So I had to call a tow truck, and the driver was quick to point out that these electrical cars are crap and he hates them as much as he hates California. Now, stranded in the middle of Oklahoma City, I was in no position to argue. So I got the car to the Volkswagen dealership, and they told me that the 12-volt battery was actually fine and they just needed to update, say it with me, the faulty software designed by the faulty German software engineers. So I went on to Austin, and after I realized Austin was pretty much like California without the beach, I made my way to Houston, arriving just a few days before Christmas. Not a creature was stirring, not even the Volkswagen Service Center certified technician. It rhymed better in my head. As soon as I arrived, the car gave me a few 12-volt battery warnings through the red electrical problem warning and then died again. So I got it to the Houston Volkswagen dealer this time and was told that there are more software issues that causing this, but luckily they have the brand new, not so over-the-air update, and as soon as they install it, it will fix all of my problems. I asked them if the problem could just be fixed by replacing the 12-volt battery, and they said it probably could, but the only 12-volt battery they had in stock was strictly reserved for those who were getting the upgrade. So I had no choice but to get the damn upgrade, which consisted of the software update and the brand new 12-volt battery. I asked them how many hours I'd have to wait, and after the laughter has subsided, they told me that I would get it after the Christmas weekend. Now, I told them that I would really like to have a car over the Christmas weekend so I can celebrate it properly by having dinner at IHOP, but they told me that besides the 12-volt batteries, they also don't have any loaners or any agreements with the local car rental companies. So after spending a very lonely Christmas Ubering between my neighborhood's IHOP and my Airbnb, I got my ID.4 back. Now, I gotta be honest, I was a bit excited to see the effects of the new update, the new features, the new UI, and most importantly, I was looking forward to my Android Auto related problems to finally go away. Now, I don't even know why I had this expectation, but of course, none of my problems were fixed. So they lied to me and the rest of us again. The list of the new features is short, useless, and honestly boring. They did add this annoying launch screen, which even after I log in, still comes up every time and you have to dismiss it. yet I see no difference in having to log in the first place. Then they also created a new charging screen shortcut icon and then put it on a screen that most people don't even know exists. And they've added a bunch of useless information to clutter up the right part of the instrument panel, and that's pretty much it. As a matter of fact, it feels like they've made the UX actually worse. So let's summarize, shall we? The original software was so bad that it brought my car to shut down. The new software hasn't fixed the previous issues and have created a few new ones, and the Volkswagen PR department still told me to f off when I asked them to comment on this issue. Did I miss anything? Oh, that reminds me, does anybody want to buy a 2-year-old Volkswagen ID.4? It's got a brand new 12-volt battery. A few dents, mainly from angry fist punches, but it still looks okay. Let me know. So that's how I ended up there, wondering if Volkswagen can make an ID.7 if they haven't gotten even close to making a decent ID.7-3. I'll keep you posted. All right, looking forward to all of your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.